Good morning, everyone. It's a great pleasure to see so many of you turn out on a Monday morning, despite a heavy traffic. Your Excellency, Dr. Vivian Balakrishnan, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Republic of Singapore. Your Excellency, Dr. Subramaniam Jaishankar, Minister of External Affairs, Government of India. Sri Bugana Ranjendranath, Minister of Finance, Planning and Legislative Affairs, Government of Andhra Pradesh. Captain Divya Shankar Mishra, Minister of State for Energy Industries, Micro and Small Medium Enterprises, and Minister of State for Home from Government of Odisha. The large delegation of government, corporate, and technology leaders from India, the dignitaries from Singapore, my diplomatic colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to welcome you here for the India-Singapore Business and Innovation Summit. Now, the dates for any summit in Singapore is decided by the Convention Center by the availability of space. But we are fortunate that we have been able to hold this summit almost 100 days after Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi-led government returned to power with a stronger mandate. It was an affirmation of the economic performance, and it was also a vote of confidence in the future. India-Singapore partnership has made enormous progress in the last 5 years, anchored in 4 visits of Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi to Singapore and 2 visits by Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong to India, and enormous bilateral initiatives, concrete outcomes, and steady progress across every field of bilateral endeavor. So now, as the government of India gets into its second term, we thought we should organize an event to discuss about what we will do in the next 5 years and what we call the next phase of the relationship. There are 2 interrelated conferences. We have, of course, the Business Summit, as also the Startup and Innovation Platform, Inspreneur, which is the 3rd edition that was launched last year in January 2018 and has proved to be an enormous success. Today, in the course of these 2 days, we have 25 panels, 90 to 100 eminent speakers from India and Singapore, 85 to 90 startups, 65 startups from India, more than 30 government officers from India, more than 30 corporate leaders from India, and out of these startups, you will see a large number of schools and college students. We have had an enormous response from the people in Singapore, nearly 4,500 registrations for this event, and it's truly a reflection of the potential and the interest in this strategic partnership. India and Singapore have built a really vibrant economic relation in our areas of strengths and development partnerships. But together, we have also taken a leap into the digital future. But our relationship and our strategic partnership means more. We, together, have over the past 3 decades been bound in shared pursuit and shared endeavors for a peaceful and a prosperous region in the Indo-Pacific region. And now, as Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi outlines his vision of taking India to a $5 trillion economy in 2024, modernizing the economy and expanding access, empowerment, and inclusion for every citizen of India, there is no better opportunity for expanding our partnership than now. Indeed, at a time and an age of disruptions and transitions, Singapore and the world will find no better land of opportunity and stability than India. India will find no better gateway to the world than Singapore, and together there is no better time to deepen our strategic partnership than now. And to discuss these extraordinary range of issues, there are no better people than the 3 eminent panelists that we have here today for the morning session. Your Excellency, Dr. Vivian Balakrishnan, he's a doctor by training, diplomat by instinct, generous by nature. He keeps a very sharp lens on the present and has a very clear long-term vision. And few in the world have spoken about technology, globalization, and geopolitics as he has. And over the last several years, he's been a great source of strength for India-Singapore strategic partnership. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to have him here today with us. Today, I have a very special guest, one that you're all familiar with. He's been a High Commissioner of India and Singapore. He has been an ambassador of India to China and the United States. And it is rare, in fact, perhaps the only time in history of independent India that an ambassador has had the privilege of welcoming in the same tenure a foreign secretary back as the External Affairs Minister of India. There are, in the course of these last 20 years since the turn of the century, India has transformed not only within, but also in its engagement with the world. And few people in India have had such a profound impact on the course of India's external engagement and global profile as Dr. Subramaniam Jaishankar. It's a great pleasure to have him here with us today. And there can be no one better to moderate a conversation between them than the legendary Professor Tommy Coe, a voice of conscience, a great champion of rules-based order, and the architect of the United Nations Convention on the Law of Seas, which remains the underpinning of maritime security and the course of the world in this century. It's a great pleasure to welcome you here, Professor Tommy Coe. Ladies and gentlemen, before I hand over the mic, I know we are running a little behind schedule, but I wanted to just say a word of thanks that an event of this scale and this depth and diversity would not have been possible without the generous support of all our sponsors, by Government of India, by the 4 state governments that we are present here today, by Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Trade and Industry of Singapore, by Enterprise Singapore, by FICCI and CII, by Singapore Business Federation, by Data Security Council of India, and by so many other professionals in Singapore who act as the great bridge between India and Singapore. So ladies and gentlemen, over the next 2 days, together we will set the stage for a partnership for the ages. Please enjoy the 2 days of an extraordinary discussion between 90 great minds. Thank you very much.